Good afternoon and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay on today. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video on the algorithm. So, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those great things. Okay, I want you guys to know how much I appreciate your support, how much I appreciate you, all of my old subscribers, all of my new subscribers, all of my future subscribers. You guys absolutely make this channel what it is. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me on social media, keeping me abreast of things and letting me know that you rock with me 100%. I appreciate that so much. Make sure y'all put some respect on my moderators, okay? They help to keep the trolls and all of the bad people out of the chat so that we can, enjoy the videos and stuff peacefully, okay? I wanted to talk about Young Dolph, okay? We always talk about Young Dolph, but I had some downtime today, so I kind of been on social media lurking. And I normally only go to a few people's pages, but I think I've kind of widened that today. I was looking at quite a few people, right? And I was looking at Zachary Randolph. And I think the reason I probably went over to Zach's page. Let me just say this. I was a really big fan of Zach's when he played for Memphis. Okay. That was around the time I was really into NBA basketball, child. I was into NBA basketball a whole lot back then. I don't really mess with it too much no more because I don't like it when folks, get knocked down on the ground and they crying and tears coming out of their eyes and they wearing dresses and stuff. When they out of the game because they heard they sitting on the front seat with dresses on and with their purses on the side of them. I can't rock with that. So I just go ahead and leave this new age stuff. I just leave it to them and I just remember the olden days and praise God for that and pray that they bring masculinity back in the name of Jesus and go on with my life, okay? But I was looking at Zach Randolph and I was looking at, Zach Randolph is starting he started a label, Endless Entertainment, and how now, because when Young Dolph was talking about independent, okay, people weren't really rocking with that, they was really trying to get people, and they still do, and they really are still getting them tied up in slave deals under the guise now of independence, okay. And so you got every other artist who don't know a darn thing about business. It's independent. Because the record labels say that I'm an independent label because they don't have a Young Dolph around to tell them, no, that ain't independent. You tied up with Endless and Loaf Boys and CMG. That is you. And then you got a distributing deal too. So you got 4-5 people in your pocket. That ain't true independence, right? So I think Young Dolph being that vocal and not because he was trying to show a lot of people up. I believe it was truly because he wanted to truly help the young dudes. I can't understand though how, and that's the reason why when I talk about misguidance, how people cut off their nose to spite their face. Okay. And so because you cut your nose off, you can't breathe, right? So you have a lot of, when I talk about misguidance, a lot of young dudes who don't know anything about a business, who has not had any guidance or anything like that, and they kind of let these record heads who are just in it, everybody's in it for money, and they are supposed to be. When you have a talent and you're in the industry, you're supposed to get your money. And I feel like everybody should get paid. I just don't believe that everybody should be taking advantage of folks. Okay. I feel like you're supposed to be able, you're going to sign the pre, go on, sign the pre. Whatever your agreement is with Young Dolph, that's one label. And then you get your distribution deal. And Young Dolph was trying to get into that. Okay. And that's it. You shouldn't be signed to Endless, Bread Gang, CMG, Atlantic Records. You getting beat. Okay, that's a slave deal. You're getting taken advantage of. And I think the problem with so many people is they don't like rebuke and correction. That's the issue today. They don't like rebuke and correction. Okay. And so when young Dolph gets on there, used to get on there and say, okay, um, um, well, listen, hey, I'm teaching you the recipe, this and that. It made a lot of label heads who wanted to take advantage of these young dudes. Okay. It intimidated them, right? It intimidated them, it pissed them off. Okay. And so that was one of their problems with him. You don't ever tell a fool that don't know anything. When they start to find out, it's after they've been drained and they're old and they've been taken advantage of. They give them a little bit more than what they ever had. That's the game. They ain't got none. We give them a little bit more than what they ever had. Get them a car. Ain't nobody in their hood got that kind of car. They can floss and flex. Get them a house. It's better than what they done had before. Give them some money. Let them go put all that jewelry, because they ain't buying that jewelry cash. They charging all the jewelry or credit, paying for it on terms. Okay, all the hunk of jewelry, and that's it. That's the game, and they ain't truly creating no generational wealth because they got too many people in their pocket. Okay, so all of this stuff that young Dolph talked about, he left a wealth of knowledge behind, since people are so engulfed and so interested in this young Dolph's case. It has truly made people start watching and saying, you know what, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. So now people go, well, young Dolph was telling the truth. They is taking advantage of them. So now they go, we got to re-strategize. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to say we independent. But ain't nothing going to change, okay? And so now you got these artists, either they slow and don't know, okay, or they don't want to look like a fool, saying, well, we're independent. Everything that young Dolph had started. And I'm not saying he was the first one. I'm just saying, as a black man, it seems like to me he was the most vocal one, because I don't really know of a lot of other true independent labels. That was Master P. Okay. There was, I believe, Baby did the same thing, but I know Master P went in and got them to give him 80%, and they took 20%. Okay. But I think with young Dolph, he was truly independent. All he had was a distribution deal. Okay. And so I think one of the reasons why, they didn't know what bag Keylock was going to come out of. Okay. Keylock is more reserved. He's successful. He's got a lot of that knowledge, but I think because he still has a lot of pain and saw how they did young Dolph and knows a lot more, it causes him to be reserved and to help his homies, and they in the industry. I'm sure they're making some money. Okay. I see Kenny Money probably I don't see with Jizzle. I don't think Jizzle care about being famous like that or being in the industry like that. Okay. But Kenny Money probably could probably, as far as personality wise, could probably be another young Dolph. Kenny Money, and I know a lot of people be wanting to get at my head, but when I see a star, I know one, and CEO Jizzle. Okay. They're probably the ones, as far, I'm not talking about as far as talent, because they're all talented. I'm talking about as far as being vocal about teaching the recipe and not backing up, okay, being out there and teaching the recipe as far as independence, and letting these little dudes know that they're being taken advantage of, right? Because I remember I said this last year. I still got it. I wish I could pull. I don't have time to pull the video up, but I was talking about how when young Dolph was taken out, I said you're going to start hearing artists, label heads that look like you and I, say, okay, you don't need to be independent. You need the backing of a major record label and all of that. And that is because they are being paid to do that. and listen to what Player Cole was saying, as far as like with Yo Gotti and them. Okay, if they sign you, and then they get you to sign with Atlantic or a distribution company or something like that, they also get a kickback from that company. Okay, so let's just say if Yo Gotti can get Moneybag Yo to sign to um, um, Jay Z's management company, okay. And I don't know why every time I get ready to think of the name of it, I don't know why I keep thinking Rockefeller is not, it's Rock Nation. To sign to Rock Nation, okay. I'm told that he gets a kickback, right? So, you know, um, yeah, I see a lot of people, that kind of shun what Young Dolph doing, following his blueprint, okay, or trying to follow his blueprint, and making these young dudes think that they're following that they're getting the exact same thing. Oh, you're not signed to us. We're all business partners. Okay, that's what they make them think. It's unfortunate, but I just, even when he first passed away, you guys, a lot of the deals and things of that nature that I'm hearing Young Dolph's artists, he had, was in works for with his artists, like getting them all water deals and things of that nature. We saw Moneybag Yo talk about a water deal. We hadn't heard anything else about it. We probably will now, because y'all know they look at this. So um we'll hear him talk about his water deal after this video is dropped, okay? We'll hear him talk about how good his water is supposedly selling and all that. And but that's something that Young Dolph was in works for with his artists when they assassinated him. So that's why when Keylock did his first interview, and they was asking him some of the things that they were supposed to get into and things of that nature, he says, you know what, I'll keep it to myself until it happens. You'll know when you see it, right? Because I'm hearing, had already gotten about following that blueprint that Young Dolph was doing for his artists, and so I think it's sad, a lot of the stuff that he was doing, a lot of the ways that he was doing it. I see a lot of people mimicking that, and I think it's a shame, to take somebody out instead of saying, I admire you, I admire what he doing, I like what he doing. They take him out, try and discredit him, okay, and then try and follow his blueprint, right? But the thing about it is, everybody know what it is, okay. So that's the reason why I say a lot of these folks just are completely, pathetic, that they did not want to see him. They didn't want to see him live. They didn't, and they was not satisfied until they took him out. Okay, a lot of his trends and things of that nature, they just were not satisfied. And I'm not saying other people did not start trends. I'm saying a lot of this stuff that people are doing that was against him, that was doing other things, talked about it. Okay, and now we're seeing them trying to pick that up and carry that, right? A lot of what he was doing, instead of when he was alive, instead of trying to kill him because he was great, because he figured out the recipe, and being mad about that because they was caught up in them slave deals. What they should have been doing, what I was saying the whole time, was get with him to help to lead all of these young dudes, okay, out of these slave deals and out of poverty, to help create some real generational wealth, because that's what he was doing, right? Instead, they hated him, okay, because he was smart enough to come in, okay, and figure it out, and then started applying it. You heard Young Dolph talk about how a lot of his artists was getting more money than a lot of people that have been in the industry for years, okay, because they was tied up in them deals. And so I think about, and I know a lot of people say, well, you be picking on Yo Gotti. I said I wasn't gonna pick on him. Okay, it's hard not to, but I ain't gonna pick the did on him. But I just have to, telling the truth, ain't picking on him. Okay. And so I think about him and how And I don't know if he still is, but I can imagine he is still tied up in them deals, all of them deals, right? And so now what he does is the way for him to get on top is to bring in other artists. In my opinion, I'll say in my opinion, because they act like little Fruit Loops. They get mad, their feelings get hurt when somebody be talking about them, child. And so to bring them in under the guise we business partners, this and that, them damn kids don't know nothing because they ain't never had nothing. It's just more than what they've ever had. They're giving them $250,000 and giving them the fame. And we all know that fame and wealth is not associated. You would think that it is, but it ain't. They found a way to detach it. And some people are just okay with being famous. That's it. And it has nothing to do with generational wealth. So that's why when you heard Young Dolph say, I don't care nothing about this, I don't care nothing about that. That's why he had a plenty. Because he understood that you could not worship money. And that's the reason why money was attracted to him. Right? That's the reason why he didn't try to hold in all of what God had taught, let him learn. He was helping the young artists around him. Okay. And so a lot of people that have been in the industry that had been bamboozled for years, okay, that was only probably making a lot of money, but they ain't making what they should. You get a $250,000 advance. Okay. Hey, the way they doing it just ain't right. Okay. When you really worth 2.5 million. Okay. The record company might come and bring you $1 million and get on Instagram. I have to wonder if that's even real. Okay. And show everybody, because it's really for show. You don't, when it's for real, you don't see Jay-Z on Instagram doing stuff like that. Because when it's for real, you don't do stuff like that. But if they're giving you $1 million for real in a bag, that means that they probably made 10 million off of you. That's all I'm saying. Okay. They really raking these young dudes over the coal. Okay. But a lot of what Young Dolph had learned and was applying, I see a lot of them trying to mimic. Now that's what they're talking about. Because like I said, I remember when I don't know if I finished talking about this when Young Dolph was assassinated. I said, watch and see. Don't we see certain people saying that you don't need to be independent? You need a label, a record company pushing you. Sure enough, and I ain't got to say allegedly, Yo Gotti was doing it. Okay. Now he's talking about independent again. Okay. Now all of a sudden he's talking about independent. You hear all them little dudes up under him talking about independent. They wouldn't know independent if it stared them in the face. Okay. Especially if they tied up with Moneybag and Endless and CMG, some kind of way getting a percentage and all of that. Got a distribution deal, but they don't know any better. And so that's why I was saying that true liberation, it could have been truly if instead of trying to take him out, okay? Because see, when folks say, well, he had tried to amend fences with him after you start trying to shoot somebody and you try to take them out. And I mean, it ain't no mending after that. You done taken it too far. You can't blame Young Dolph for being mad after they started popping up his van and then turn around and popped him. They didn't do that to try to scare him. They did it because they tried to take him out. It ain't no coming back from that. You can't shake my hand after you try to take my life and say, let's mend fences. No. You put your hands on me. You try to take me away from my family, and then they didn't stop until they did it. And so now you see a lot of people talking about we the biggest after going and trying to follow his blueprint instead of saying, look here, dog, instead of being jealous of him, hey, I like what you're doing. Hey, Hey, I didn't know. I didn't know when I got in this, but I'm proud of you for going and learning that. I'm proud of you for doing that. Okay. But I'm trying to turn this thing around, and maybe we can get together and get some of this talent and teach them the recipe, and we could all be making some money for real. But the Bible says that jealousy is as cruel as the grave. Okay. And they are living proof. Okay. That's why I don't never want Keylock to stop popping his stuff. They was trying to intimidate him because they felt like he was they know he had learned from Dolph. And they said, we ain't got him yet. He'll be popping his stuff and we'll steady be reminded. But God says, when I get him back, you're going to see me get him back. Okay. And it's going to be some get back. They know it. So Kenny Money came from the back, and that was unexpected, and come all the way to the front going straight up and got the same type of personality, the least one they expected. And what they do, they started talking about they had bags on their boy head. Okay. So then he got Jizzle around him. Somebody that ain't scared, that's also, I see the exact same thing and a lot of other people too, the greatness on him that Young Dolph had. Oh no, and he ain't scared of us either. We got to take him too. And try the exact same thing they did to Young Dolph, they tried to do to him. Okay. But they talking about we the biggest. The biggest what? Haters? They ain't even supposed to be getting supported if you want to be for real about it. Anytime you start destruction and destroying and trying to take people out, you gone too far. We can't support that. We can't support you because that's encouraging you to continue. You start messing with their money, you will see a difference. But as long as there are no repercussions, I mean, there will be. But it was supposed to happen before the police finished doing their thing. Okay? But a lot of the stuff that he was doing, I see other people picking up and running with. Instead of saying, I admire you, they was jealous of him. Okay? But God says, when I get them back for what they did, you're going to see me get them back. They can't say nothing about what I'm saying. You know why? Because they already know the word of God. Even if they devils, they know the word and they know they got to reap. It's coming back. It's already back. Okay? But anyways, y'all, I could go on and on, but I don't want to get myself upset about this, okay? Because what I see, if you want to be honest, that Young Dolph was taken out so that they could ruin a generation. So that they could hijack and help other communities ruin a generation. Okay? Their jealousy and their hate for him. Because they know he'll get on his Instagram, he'll get on a song and speak about it. And go from A to Z on what's happening and how it's happening and what the recipe is. They knew he would do it. And they couldn't stand him for it. Okay. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to cut this short. I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. Okay. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App. I love you guys. I'll speak with you later.